2 Shemuel chapter 19. ויוגד ליואב, הנה המלך בוקר, ויתהבל על אבשלום. And it was told to Joab, Behold, the king is crying and is mourning about over Absalom. ותהי התשועה ביום ההוא להבל לכל העם. And the salvation in that day became for mourning for all the people. כי שמע העם ביום ההוא לאמור, נעשה המלך על בנו. Because the people heard in that day, saying, The king is grieved over his son. ויתגנב העם ביום ההוא לעבור העיר. And the people stole itself away in that day to come to the city. כאתר יתגנב העם הנכלמים בנוסם במלחמה. Like as the people steal themselves away, the ones which are humiliated in their fleeing in the battle. وَهَمَّلَكَ لَهَتْ إِتْبَانَيْ. And the king had covered his faces. وَيِزَعَقْ هَمَّلَكَ قَوْلَ گَادُولَ. And the king cried out with a great voice, Beni Abshalom, Abshalom, Beni, Beni. My son, Abshalom, Abshalom, my son, my son. ויבוא יואב אל המלך הבית. And Joab came to the king to the house. ויאמר הובשת היום את פני כל עבדך הממלטים את נפשך היום ואת נפש בנך ובנותיך ונפש נתך ונפש פילגשך. And he said, Thou hast shamed this day all thy servants, the ones delivering thy soul today, and the soul of thy sons and thy daughters, and the soul of thy women, and the soul of thy concubines. Lahava et shonecha, to love the ones hating thee. Wilishano et ohaveka, and to hate the ones loving thee. Ki higadata hayom, ki hen luka sharim wa'avadim, ki yadati hayom, ki luh Abshalom hay wikulanu hayom metim, ki haz yashar be'enaka. Because thou hast revealed, told it today, that there is not for thee princes and servants, that I have known today, that suppose Abshalom lived and all of us today were dead, that then it would be right in thy eyes. And now arise thou, go thou out, with Abir al-lib avadaka, and word thou upon the heart of thy servants. Ki b'yahweh nishba'ati, ki henaka yoshe, im yalin ish ittaka halayla. Because by Yahweh I have sworn that if there is not thou going out, if a man would lodge or overnight with thee tonight. ورعى مكل هرعى أترباها علك من غرك عضعاتا. And evil shall be for thee, this evil shall be for thee more than all the evil which hath come upon thee from thy youth times as far as now. وَيَقُمْ حَمِّلْكَ وَيَثِبْ بَثَاغَرْ. And the king arose, and he sat in the gate. وَلِكُلِّ عَامٍ هِجِّدُوا لَمُرْ. And to all the people they narrated, saying, Hinne HaMelech Yotheb Bathar. Behold, the king is one sitting in the gate. Wayavo Kol Ha'am Lipne HaMelech. And all the people came before the king. Yisrael Nasa Ishelo Halau. And Yisrael had fled, each man to his tent. وَيَهْيَ كُلَّ عَامٍ نَادُونَ. And all the people were at strife. بكل شبتي Yisrael lemor. In all the tribes of Yisrael, saying, Hamelech Hithilanu mikapo Yevenu. The king hath delivered us from the palm of our enemies. Wuhu militanu mikaf pelishtim. And he had delivered us from the palm of Pelishtim. Wa'ata barach min harsh me'al Abshalom. And now he hath fled from the land from account of Abshalom. وَأَبْشَالُومْ أَتْرَ مَا شَحْنُ عَلَيْنُ مِتْ بَمِلْحَامَا. And Abshalom, which we have anointed over us, is dead in the battle. وَأَتَّى لَا أَتَّمْ مَحَرِشِيمْ لَهَاتِي بِإِتْ هَمَّلَكْ. And now, for what are ye ones being still or silent, to return the king? وَهَمَّلَكَ David. And the king David, Shalach el Tzadok v'el Abiathar HaKohanim lemor. He sent to Tzadok and to Abiathar the priests, saying, Dabberu el Diqane Yehuda lemor. Word ye to the elders of Yehudah, saying, Lama tihiyu acharonim lahati ve'et hamelech el beto. For what are ye ones delaying, to return the king to his house? Udevar kol Yisrael bah el hamelech el beto. And the word of all Yisrael hath come to the king to his house. Achai atem atemi ubashari hatem. My brothers ye are, my bone and my flesh ye are. Walam tihiyu acharonim lahati be'et hamelech. And for what should ye be ones delaying, to return the king? وَلَعَمَاشَاهَ تُهْمَرُوا. And to Amashah ye shall say, Halo atami ubasharihata. Is it not my bone and my flesh thou art? Ko yasheli Elohim w'ko Yosef imlo sharshaba tihye lefanai kol hayamim tahat Yoab. Thus may God do to me, and thus may he add, if not a prince of the host thou shalt be before my faces all the days in place of Joab. Wayat et levab kol ish Yehuda keish ehad. And he inclined the heart of all the men of Yehuda like one man. Vayishlehu el hamelech thubahata v'kol avadaka. And they sent to the king, return thou and all thy servants. Vayathob hamelech, and the king returned. Vayavo ad haYordan, and he came as far as the Jordan. Yehuda Gilgal, and Yehuda had come to Gilgal. La leket liqrat hamelech, to come to meet the king. L'ha'avir et hamelech et haYordan, to cause the king to pass over the Jordan. Vaymaher Shimei ben Gerah ben Hayamini atr Mibbahurim, and Shimei the son of Gerah, a son of the Yemini, which is from Bahurim, hurried. Vayerd Imehish Yehuda, and he went down with the man of Yehuda, Liqrat Hamelech David, to meet the king David. Ve'elpehish immo mibinyamin, and 1,000 men with him from Binyamin, with Shiva Nar Bet Shaul, and Shiva, the lad of the house of Shaul. Wachameshet ashar banai ve'esherim avadai ito, and 15 of his sons and 20 of his servants with him. V'thalahu haYordan lifnei hamelech, and they progressed or passed the Jordan before the king. Wa'avra ha'avara la'avir et bet hamelech, and the crossing crossed over to cause the house of the king to cross over. Wa'la'ashot ha'tov be'enau, and to effectuate the good in his eyes. Shimei ben Gerah nafal lifnei hamelech be'avro ba'Yordan, and Shimei the son of Gerah fell before the king in his crossing over in the Jordan. Vayomer el hamelech, and he said to the king, Al yahshov li hadoni avon, let not my lord reckon to me iniquity. V'hal tizkor et atr he'awa abdaka, and let thee not remember what thy servant twisted or did in iniquity. Bayom atr yashahadoni hamelech miYerushalem, in the day when my lord the king went out from Jerusalem. La shum hamelech el libo, for the king to set to his heart. Ki ada abdaka, ki hani hatahti. For thy servant hath known that I have sinned. V'hinne vahati hayom rishon l'kol bet Yosef. And behold, I have come today, the first for all the house of Yosef. La redet liqarat hadoni hamelech, to descend to meet my lord the king. Vayagan Abishai ben Zeruiah Vayomer. And Abishai the son of Zeruiah responded, and he said, Hatahat dot lo hayumat Shimei. Is it instead of this that Shimei should not die? Ki qillel et Mashiach Yahweh, for he hath belittled or cursed the anointed of Yahweh. Vayomer David, and David said, Mahali velachem beneath Zeruiah. What is for me and for you, O sons of Zeruiah? Ki tihiyu li hayom l'shatan, that ye should be to me today for an adversary. Hayom yumatahish b'Yisrael. Today should a man die in Yisrael. Ki halo yadati ki hayom ani melech ala Yisrael. For is it not that I have known that today I am a king over Yisrael? Vayomer hamelech el Shimei lo tamut. And the king said to Shimei, Thou shalt not die. Vayishab alo hamelech. And the king swore to him an oath. Mephibosheth ben Shaul yarad liqarat hamelech. And Mephibosheth the son of Shaul descended to meet the king. V'lo asher ragalav, v'lo asher shafamo. And he had not effectuated his feet, and he had not effectuated his moustache. With begadav lo kibbis, and his clothes he had not washed. Lemin hayom leket hamelech, ad hayom atrabah b'shalom. From the day of the going of the king unto the day which he came in peace. Vayahi ki va Yerushalem liqarat hamelech. And it was as he came to Jerusalem to meet the king. Vayomer lo hamelech. The king said to him, Lama lo halakata immi Mephibosheth. For what didst thou not come with me, Mephibosheth? Vayomer, and he said, Adoni hamelech abdi rimani. My lord the king, my servant deceived me. Ki amar abdaka ihbashali hahamor واركب عليها وهلك et hamelech ki piseh abdaka. Because thy servant said, I would saddle for me the donkey, and I would ride upon it, and I would go to the king, because thy servant is lame. ويرجل بعبدك الهدوني hamelech. And he slandered thy servant to my lord the king. Wahadoni hamelech kamalach ha-Elohim. And my lord the king is as a messenger of the God. Wa'asher hatob be'enecha, and do thou the good in thy eyes. Ki lo haya kol bet avi, ki im anashe mawet ladoni hamelech. Because all the house of my father was not except men of death to my lord the king. Watashet et avdaka bokele shulhanaka, and thou didst set thy servant among the eaters of thy table. وَمَهْيَشْلِي عَوْدَ الصَّدَاقَةِ, and what is there to me any more a righteousness? وَلِزَعُقَ عَوْدَ الْهَمَّلَكِ, or to cry out any more to the king. وَيُمَرْ لَوْ هَمَّلَكِ, and the king said to him, لَمَّا تَدَبَّرْ عَوْدَ دَبَارَكَ, for what art thou wording still thy words? Amarati atta washiva tahallaqu etahashada. I have said, thou and Shiva, ye shall divide the field. Wayomer Mephibosheth Elham Melech, and Mephibosheth said to the king, Gama etahakol yiqah, also the whole let him take. Achare atrabah Adoni Hamelech b'shalom eleveto. After that, my lord the king hath come in peace to his home, to his house. Ubarzillai Hagiladi Yarad Merrogalim, and Barzillai the Gileadi descended from Rogalim. Wayabur Etahamelech Hayordan, and he passed over the Jordan with the king. Leshalho Etahayordan, to send him over the Jordan. وبرزيلاي ذاقين مود, and Barzillai was old exceedingly. Benethmonim Shana, the son of 80 years. Uhu Hekilekal Etahamelech Beshivato B'mahanaim, and he had sustained the king in his dwelling in Mahanaim. Ki gadol hu hamod, because a big man he was exceedingly. Wayomer Hamelech el Barzillai, and the king said to Barzillai, Ata aborahiti, thou cross thou over with me. Wikilkalati hotaka imadi birushalem, and I shall nourish thee with me in Jerusalem. Wayomer Barzillai Elhamelech, and Barzillai said to the king, Kamah yemeh shene hayai ki ele Etahamelech Jerusalem. Like what are the days of the years of my life, that I would go up with the king to Jerusalem? Benthmonim Shana Noki Hayom, the son of 80 years I am this day. Haeda ben Tov, is it that I know between good to evil, that is, Is it that I know between good quality and bad quality? Imi ita ama abduka ita atra hokal we ita atra eshita. If thy servant could taste what I eat and what I drink, ime shema od b'kol sharim wa sharot. If I should hear yet by the voice of singing men and singing women, وَلَمَّا يِهْيَ عَبْدُكَ عُودْ لَمَشَّى Elhadoni Hammelech, and for what should thy servant yet be for a burden to my lord the king? Kima'at ya'avor abduka et hayordan et Hammelech. Like a little, thy servant would pass over the Jordan with the king. Walamah yegameleni hamelech hagmula hadot. And for what should the king repay with this reward? Ya thabnah abduka, let now thy servant return. Wahamut be'ero, and I would die in my city. Im qebrahavi wehimmi, with the grave of my father and my mother. Wehinne abduka kimaham, and behold thy servant Kimaham. Ya'abor imhadoni hammelech, let him pass over with my lord the king. Wa'asher lo et atar tov be'eneka, and effectuate thou for him what is good in thy eyes. Wayomer Hamelech, and the king said, Iti ya'avor Kimaham, with me Kimaham shall pass over. Wahani e'shelo et hatov ve'eneka, and I shall effectuate to him the good in thy eyes. W'kol atarativ hara alai e'shelach, and all which thou choosest upon me, I shall effectuate for thee. وَيَعْبُرْ كُلَّ عَامٍ et hayordan وَهَمَّلْكَ عَبَرْ, and all the people passed over the Jordan, and the king passed over. وَيِشَّقْ هَمَّلْكَ لَبَرْزِلَّهِ, and the king kissed to Barzillai. وَيَبَرَّكَهُ, and he blessed him. وَيَعْثَبْ لِمْقَوْمُهُ, and he returned to his place. وَيَعْبُرْ هَمَّلَكَ هَگِلْگَالَ, and the king passed on to the Gilgal. وَكِمَهَان عَبَرَ إِمُّ, and Kimaham passed over with him. وَكُلْ عَمْ يَهُودَا העבירו את המלך וגם חצי עם Yisrael, and all the people of Yehudah, they caused the king to pass over, and also half of the people of Yisrael. והנה כל איש Yisrael ba'im el המלך, and behold, every man of Yisrael, one's coming to the king. Wayomeru el hamelech, and they said to the king, Madu genavuka achenu, why have our brothers stolen thee. Ish Yehuda, the man of Yehuda. ויעבירו את המלך ואת ביתו את היורדן. And they have caused the king and his house to pass over the Jordan. וכל אנשי דוד עמו, and all the men of David with him. ויען כל איש יהודה על איש ישראל, and every man of Yehudah responded upon the man of Yisrael. Ki qarob hamelech elai, because the king is near to us. Ulama the hara leka al hadavar hadeh, and for what is this, that it be provocation to thee on account of this word. Heakol akalanu min hamelech im nishet nishah lanu. Is it that eatingly we have eaten from the king, or a gift we have lifted for us, or a gift he lifted for us? ויען איש ישראל את איש יהודה ויאמר, and the man of Yisrael responded to the man of Yehudah, ויאמר, and he said, אשר ידות לי במלך, 10 hands are for me in the king. וגם בדוד אני ממך, and also in David I have more than thee. ומדוע הקילותני, and why hast thou belittled me? ולא היה דברי ראשון לי להטיב את מלכי, and my word was not first for me to return the king. ויקש דבר איש יהודה מדבר איש ישראל, and the word of the man of Yehudah was severe more than the word of the man of Yisrael.